We get to see what it's like in Limbo with a new image number 1. Superman is an American alien, and someone on Earth is considered the goddamned. This week,
On Top of the Stack.
Thank you for joining us for Top of the Stack this week, our weekly segment that gives you our reviews on our top 3 favorite comics. Why you'd want our reviews? I don't know. We're going to give them to you anyway, and you're going to like them. And then you're going to let us know what you did and did not like about them in the comments below. Mm-hmm. First up, we have Limbo number 1 by Dan Watters and Casper Wijngaard, I think. If I'm wrong, I apologize, but that's what I got out of it. What did you get out of this?
Basically, the title gives it all away.
It's about a game. These guys all play a game to see who can get the lowest on the pole.
I don't know how you did that, but yeah, that's exactly what it's about.
You said it was pretty obvious. I mean, I hear Limbo, this comic's going to be about flexible people at parties. Mm-hmm. Is that what it was about?
No.
Oh.
You were close, though. It's about a man who's stuck in limbo, we're guessing, not for sure. He basically lives this normal life. He's a PI, but it's in a strange kind of town, which he doesn't think is strange because he can't remember anything before he was in limbo. So it's a strange town. He's a PI. He takes this case from a lady named Bridget, and it's a case about her boss. She saw some weird voodoo magic type stuff that she's a little bit afraid of, which I kind of don't really follow what's going on right now.
I don't think we're supposed to. It is. Yeah. It's weird.
It's very strange, weird stuff. It almost reminds me of like Native American type voodoo magic, dancing, weird stuff. So what did you think? That's basically the gist of it.
That is basically the gist of it. You do see some weird stuff that makes you go like, yeah, they're in limbo. Like the woman listening to a cassette tape that's not even, it's like on the ground spinning itself. So you know this isn't a normal world. Like what it reminds me of is the movie Wrist Cutter. If anybody's seen the movie Wrist Cutters, or I think Cutters, something like that, where the guy commits suicide and he is in hell, but their version of hell, it kind of reminds me of like what this comic, although it's limbo and not hell. They all have these odd jobs, normal life, but it's the shittiest life you could have. And this guy doesn't know. He's been there apparently 9 months. He has a 9-month memory, remembers nothing before that. And I thought it was interesting, but it really did lose me with this magic stuff. Yeah. It just, I feel like I almost like it better if he was in limbo and he's like just this PI in limbo kind of story. Doing his job. Like, why are these people in limbo able to do magic? It just doesn't even make sense. Yeah. Maybe we'll find out. I don't know if I'm even going to read this next one. Yeah. I wanted it on this review again because it is a number 1. I'm always interested to see how these go. So what did you think about it overall? Overall,
it's probably going to get a Michael Keaton from me, just because it kind of lost me with the whole magic stuff. At the beginning, I was like, yeah, what's going on with this guy? And then it just kind of started to feel a little out of place with that. So, for me, a Michael Keaton. How about you?
Me, I wanted to like the story. I liked bits and pieces of it. Overall, did not really care for it. I did like the art. That's a plus.
Yep, art was good.
So for me, it's getting a George Clooney.
Ooh, girl.
So Limbo number 1 by Dan Watters and Casper Wijngaard. Sorry if I got that wrong. Is getting a Michael Keaton and a George Clooney from Geek'd. Which brings us to Superman American Alien number 1. This is by Max Landis. This time the art is by Nick Dragoto and Alex Guimarães. Apparently this is a 7-issue miniseries that each one is going to be done by a different artist.
Okay.
On this one in particular, I can say I really did like the art.
I loved the art in this.
It kind of, at points, it kind of made me feel like I was reading a kid's book, but it went along with the story, so I was fine with that. But basically what this is it's Clark Kent learning that he's an alien and he has powers. The book starts off with Martha Kent holding his ankle, flying way up in the air, trying to get him to come down. You know, he has no control over it. And it's a really good story to see what him as a kid might have went through. Yeah. It's not all fun and games. There's a scene in it where his dad wants to build this hook so when his son goes up there, he can use this hook with a plane and get him down. And you're thinking, oh, yeah, you know, he keeps going up there, blah, 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 blah. But he said to this guy who's helping him, he said, you know what? You don't get it. He's scared. And it shows him all curled up in the fetal position, like a mile above the ground. So you get to see that it's not all fun and games. You get to see one of his first romance.
I thought it was cool. They kind of touched on the cape.
Yeah.
How the cape may have come to be a part of him.
At that moment, that's when he was no longer afraid.
Yeah.
He like kind of became who he is. I like that there's a part in the drive-in where he goes with his
friends
girl he likes.
And
they're watching E.T. And it's a scene from E.T. where they capture E.T. and the boy is all in his bed and they're saying, you're hurting him, da, 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 da. And Clark looks at this girl he likes and says, do you think they'd really take an alien and lock him up? And she's just like, what? Like, kids, they just want to watch a movie. He is an alien. He's questioning these things. And he then later looks in a mirror and sees E.T. looking back at him. And, I mean, I just really like the story. I thought it's kind of like what might happen.
It was really nice insight into, like you said, what
Kid
may
Clark.
have happened. Yeah, and the art just went so well with this. It really was like a children's book, but it had like its kind of dark moments where you kind of feel what he's feeling, you know?
Yeah. So overall, I personally liked it. I'm going to give this one, I think there could have been a little more. So I'm giving this one a Michael Keaton.
I think I'm with you there.
The art is my favorite part of it.
Yes.
The story's good, but the art is my favorite part. And I do think it's going to get better and better.
Yeah.
The story's going to pick up. Depending on the artist, that could make or break it for me.
That's true.
Superman, American Alien by Max Landis, this time drawn by Nick Dragotta, is getting a Michael Keaton picked up. Which leads us to our last review of the day. It is another #1 from Image Comics by Jason Aaron and R.M. Guerra called The Goddamned #1. This is a biblical tale.
It is.
It takes some liberties, I would say. Based 1,600 years after the fall of Eden. So Adam and Eve have done their damage, and this is 16 years. You get to see this desert-riddled place and these barbarians, basically.
Almost like Mad Max-ish.
Yeah, and it kind of, you see this man wake up naked, face in the mud, and this kid is like, how aren't you dead? You've been laying in that mud all day, all night. And apparently somebody tried to murder him, slit his throat. He has no damage to him. We don't really know much about this guy.
Yeah, I was at the beginning, I'm like, what in the world is happening?
Yeah, I had no idea, and I'm happy I read it because it was later spoiled the next day after I read it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I don't really want to spoil it. Who this is, some of you probably already know, but it's a man who cannot be killed for some reason, we find out. Can't be hurt, really. And it's just the introduction of him coming into this world with a lot of good twists on biblical stuff, which, you know, there's cussing, which there was, I would imagine, way back in the day. They were cussing. Big orgies all over the place. They weren't not cussing. And this is full of that. It's full of violence. It's everything I would want out of like a movie about the Bible, you know?
What did you think about the art?
That is one thing I was going to touch on. This gets knocked down a peg or two because of the art.
Yep, I totally agree.
I thought the art was, and I hate to say it, I hate to be that judgmental person because I'm no artist, but it really, especially the action scenes, was almost impossible to read.
Focus and
know what's going on.
Yeah, it was all over the place and sketchy, and I don't even know. It felt like
super rushed.
but yeah, Just like a bunch of stuff thrown together. It was very odd.
It felt like he had an original artist, and the thing was due in a couple weeks, and that artist fell out, and he needed somebody.
Yeah. The story, like, the beginning of it, I'm like, I don't think I like this. And then the ending of it, I was like, well, maybe I can get into it. But this art is almost like too much to handle.
It's hard to swallow, man. It really, unfortunately, is, because I thought it was really good. I was really liked how crude it was, how violent it was, how it took characters. Anybody from my Bible stories as a kid, even if you're not religious or anything, knows these characters, and it's taking them in a way that would, if you don't believe in the Bible, like, this could really happen.
Yeah.
Especially that end page, who comes along and what they're actually doing.
And it's, like, very adult.
Yeah, that's what I like about it.
Yeah, it is.
It's what I've always wanted in a movie. I really like Noah, the movie Noah.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be gritty, and it, but anyway, overall, I thought the story was great. I thought the art was lackluster, very lackluster. So it's getting to knock down a peg to a Michael Keaton, this one.
I'm gonna go with you on that one as well. I'm Michael Keaton all around this week.
Okay, so the goddamn #1 by Jason Aaron, art by R.M. Guerra, is getting a Michael Keaton Geek'd Up. Which leads us to our last segment, our honorable mentions. This week we only have one.
Just one.
It is Descender #7 by Jeff Lemire and Dustin Nguyen. This one, starting off this one, I know this comic gets a lot of love, but I was kind of on the edge of, I don't know about this one anymore.
Same here.
I was like, I just don't know. I feel like I'm reading the same thing every time.
I thought because you put it on here, you, like, really liked it, and I was like, I'm just not feeling this one.
But
the end.
Finally, it got something. Finally, the last couple pages, it did something I've wanted it to do, and I'm back on board for at least one or two more issues to see where this goes. And because of that, it was that good of an ending that, boom, automatically shot it up. Something you got to read. If you're reading this and you thought about stopping, not reading anymore, read this one and maybe change your mind. So that is why it is on the honorable mentions this week. And again, that was Descender #7, Jeff Lemire and Dustin Nguyen. And that is it for Top of the Stack this week. What did you think about our reviews? Were they good? Were they bad? Give us those thumbs up. Like it, subscribe, and we'll get back to each and every one of you, so get that conversation going. Where can they find us?
They can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Vine, all those lovely platforms.
Everywhere apps are sold, we're there. So until next time,
stay geeked up.
And always hug a xenomorph.
Always.